Forget everything that you think you know about grocery pharmacies, because Publix setting a new standard. What we're going to do in this video is take a look at Publix Pharmacy and discover if this is an interesting industry for your next career move. Because Publix has a really interesting mission that's going beyond just filling scripts in a grocery store. They're providing more healthcare amenities and services than some other interesting grocery chains. And hopefully by the end of this video, we're gonna hopefully answer some questions like, what's it like being a Publix pharmacist, and is it a good job, and should you take that job offer? So let's get into it. So the story of Publix is intertwined with this guy named George Jenkins. Before founding Publix, Jenkins worked as a store clerk and later as a manager at Piggly Wiggly, which, I mean, who doesn't have some fun saying that name? But this was from like 1926 to 1930, way before any of us were even thought of or born. Publix Supermarkets was born in 1930 and initially focused on groceries, with pharmacy services coming much later. So the first pharmacy Publix store opened in 1986 in Florida, which is where a lot of the Publix stores are. This expansion was methodical and strategic, and by 1995, 1/3 of Publix stores had a pharmacy. And now today, approximately 90% of their 1,300 locations house a pharmacy department. When examining Publix's position in the market, I find a compelling story of growth and competition. So Publix Pharmacy currently generates an estimated $848 million, contributing to the parent company total revenue of $57 billion. So it's like little less than 2% right now of its total revenue. It's not very much. Definitely kind of leads to that idea of pharmacy being a loss leader for many of these companies. To put things in perspective, Walmart leads the pack at around $650 billion in revenue, followed by Kroger at 150, and then Albertsons at 79. And that's, again, total revenue. The pharmacy division of Publix demonstrates, I think, a robust employment. Currently, they have about 4,200 pharmacy staff members. And what's interesting is that they've been able to achieve around a growth rate of 6% in 2023. So this is actually a little bit higher than others. So Publix has consistently been named one of Fortune 100's best companies to work for. Out of the 5 previous stores that I just mentioned, it's the only one out of those 5 as of 2021. So the current workplace culture at Publix Pharmacy, I think, reflects both some significant strengths and some areas for improvement. What I like to do is look at what are employees directly saying about their experiences at the company. So on the positive side, many employees express deep satisfaction with their work environment. One pharmacist shared, quote, "I love Publix, it's friendly, and the staffing levels are decent compared to other chains. The reduced store hours on weekends and being closed on holidays make a real difference in work-life balance." This was taken directly from Glassdoor. Another employee emphasized the financial benefits, saying that the stock options are very, very generous, which makes you feel like an owner of the company. Seems a little bit of a stretch, but I thought that was interesting. I also believe that positive customer interactions contribute significantly to job satisfaction. As one pharmacist put it, patients normally enjoy shopping at Publix. Therefore, they are usually in a pleasant mood when interacting with the pharmacy. While not every encounter is great, as a whole, it has been better than my experience at other chains. The company's commitment to employee well-being has not gone unnoticed, with one staff member highlighting that there, quote, "are lots of opportunities for growth, and it truly feels like the company prioritizes well-being of their associates, especially with offerings like virtual mental health counseling services." Some longer-term employees, people who have been there a while, particularly value the stability of the career. One veteran said, "From my experience, it's a great place to work with amazing and kind people." Another one added that the people were good and the work environment was very well fostered. It's the best supermarket you could work for in Georgia, depending on which store you're at. However, Anytime you have a large organization, you're going to have bureaucracy, you're going to have policies, you're going to have people dragging their feet, and employees face challenges. Some staff members express frustration with scheduling issues, with one pharmacist noting, quote, "It's hard to get preferred vacation time, which can make work-life balance challenging." Workload concerns are also very common. As one said, "We're expecting to do too much with not enough support." And the customer is always right mentality can be demoralizing to employees. So the workplace atmosphere can significantly vary by location. This is a common theme with pretty much any major chain retailer. One employee describes their experience. Culture is bad in some locations, a lot of gossip, many tasks can be overwhelming. There are a lot of paperwork and micromanaging that you don't see at other big companies. Now, I disagree with this statement because I have talked with practically pharmacists from maybe every employer, and micromanaging happens everywhere. It is store and leadership dependent. One pharmacist pointed out, quote, "Working at Publix Pharmacy can be stressful. They do not provide enough tech help, and most of the opening and closing hours, you pharmacists will have to work by yourself." This is, I can confirm that actually from clients that I've worked with in the past who said, "I'm just by myself, so no tech help." These mixed reviews, I think, paint a fuller picture of this company that offers, I think, some good benefits, potential career opportunities, but grappling with like the same challenges that you're going to be seeing at others, while potentially having like less support than some of these other locations. Just not having techs is kind of weird, honestly, to hear about. But it seems to be quite common, especially if it's a lower trafficked store. So the variation in experiences, I think, is very dependent, honestly, on the location. So when you're interviewing or looking to be employed at one of these locations, you need to know what those store-specific problems could be. So despite these challenges, I think the company has a decent commitment to employee ownership and professional development, which I think it's got to be there. It's one of the strongest among all the other retailers that I have seen. I want to highlight, I think, Publix's commitment to innovation, and it may feel like a step backwards for many people, but it's honestly, it's about central fill facilities. So they have an existing facility in Orlando, which currently serves pharmacies throughout the Florida area and Georgia as well. But they're not stopping there. They've made a bold move to make an investment of about $150 million in a new facility in St. Johns County. It's scheduled to open around 2026. I think this new facility represents what they're trying to do operationally with pharmacy. In order to have this central fill facility, ideally, it should involve pharmacists getting more involved with clinical services. I think it's a good step in the right direction. Thinking about working at Publix, this move should create about 400 new jobs. Some of those will be pharmacists, so maybe get ahead of the game. Looking ahead, I think Publix Pharmacy is strategically positioning itself for some sustainable growth in a better fashion than some of the other grocery chains. I don't think that they're perfect, but I think that they're trying to be smart and perhaps a little bit slower than their competition. I think this is benefiting them because I don't know if you know this or not, but the other grocery chains have a whole lot more lawsuits than Publix does. I don't think that's always a great metric for how good a business is doing, but I think it's a little realistic to be like, how much in trouble is your employer? Publix has taken a wild journey from one single pharmacy location back in the 80s to now over 1,300 pharmacies. Despite facing the challenges, the pandemic, I think that they're making the slow and steady race win for them. And I think in general, Publix Pharmacies is one of the better grocery chain pharmacy employers compared to its competition. The pharmacists continuously rate this company better than their competition. And I think that's the story of Publix, a company redefining slowly pharmacy care in the grocery store. And I think it's setting the bar high with how it's treating its employees in a better fashion than its competition. In our next video, we'll be diving into probably a little bit more newsworthy pharmacy, Albertsons, because of their potential merger and some of the trouble they're building up with the FTC. So you don't want to miss it. So if you enjoyed this breakdown, then let me know, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe so that you don't miss the next video. So until I see you then, stay curious and take care.